got some new mods for my V6 Charger. Listen, man, these V6 Chargers, I'm trying to tell y'all, bro, they're a lot to work with, but in the long run, it's worth it. Especially like if you want to get like the power out of a V8 but not paying for a V8, it's definitely worth it. I can say in the long run already, I've still spent less money on this car than buying an RT. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into what I got for you. So what I got for y'all, it's under the hood mod, probably one of the most expensive mods. Here, I'm going to pop this hood for you. So, as y'all can see, I went ahead and got the RIP Supercharger kit for the V6. So far, I have maybe driven this car about 300, maybe 350 miles. So far, not really any driving issues, any engine issues, anything like that. I actually did the kit myself. I did a majority of myself, so I did have a couple issues with install. Those are just, user error. Everything is majority of bolt on. I had the most issue up here with this air intake. I ended up having to put 2 air intakes just so it can stay on because it looked like it wasn't exact fit. But I also do have a ported throttle body, so that could be why. If I had the stock throttle body, it probably would have stayed on, no issues. Yeah, it's looking really good with this RIP kit so far. Power wise, I feel like I'm getting about maybe 400. I haven't really tested it. Supposed to be getting it dynoed next week. Also, while getting the dyno, I'm getting my cats removed, so I'm going catless. I got a catless downpipe that I got. I'll definitely make another video on that as well as soon as I get the dyno and the catless downpipe for the V6. It's one of a kind. I had to get it from overseas. There's nobody that actually makes them here. I got it from Australia. I'll definitely, if you guys want the link to that, I'll leave it in the description for the catless downpipes, but I'll also make a video as well. Yeah, with this RIP kit, man, really well put together, I would say. For the V6, it is almost entirely bolt-on. You do have to make a couple fabrications. I would say it's just more so of cutting the bumper for it to fit properly. I had to do a lot of trimming also. So yeah, man. Got the RIP coil packs and the iridium spark plugs. Got the actual supercharger right here, front mounted. It is belt fed, so technically it's not a turbo. It is a supercharger or pro charger because it's belt fed. It comes with new coolant holes here, and I got the 180 degree thermostat in there. Yeah, man. This was really hard to put in. As you can see, all the coolant that's here. I'm gonna get this cleaned up eventually, but there's a lot of coolant everywhere because I didn't drain my coolant when I was putting it on. But as you can see, my engine bay is kind of dirty and nasty. It's a lot of grit and grime everywhere. I'll get that cleaned up. But yeah, so far so good. Got the turbo piping that goes through right here, comes through, feeds right through to the front mount intercooler that's right here. Comes all the way through. There's another one here that feeds right back up. Comes back down here. And then shoots right into the throttle body here. And there's the blow off valve. I'll let you guys hear it in a second. But yeah. And you have to take this air box off. It's a real pain. It's a lot of bolts. It's bolts you can't even see, honestly. I'll let you guys take a look. There's not really too many tutorials on actually installing it on the actual device. You can see to get to the actual coil backs on this car, you have to take this air box off. But I would say, like, this car here, especially, drain your coolant. Don't do what I did. I had to actually end up getting an entirely new radiator because I didn't bleed my system and drain my coolant like I was supposed to. So I ended up puncturing a hole inside my radiator. But got the new radiator on there, got the rip sign down there with the new smaller radiator. I actually did get a smaller radiator, and it actually seemed like it works well when you're looking at the coolant. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all hear it in a second. And then we got the oil catch can. It really comes in handy. So with this here, I had to actually make a T connection because with my 3.6 specifically, there is a crankcase breather cable and it shoots a lot of oil out of it. So what I did was I connected it to my catch can, and I actually have that oil that's blowing out going right into my catch can, so it'll catch that oil and right back into the air box. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is the T connection here. Got it zip tied up until I can get a permanent clamp. Yeah. Got the rip map sensor. You can't. Everybody, if you install this kit, you're on your own. Make sure this map sensor. Make sure you use the rip one specifically, because I was stumped for days trying to figure out why my car wouldn't crank, and it was because of this air cranks. This map sensor. Make sure that you put this on. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all hear it in a second. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all my honest opinion on installing this kit. I would say out of 10, how hard it is to install. If you have some mechanical knowledge, I would say it's really like maybe like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Doing this in the shop is probably way easier. You got to lift and everything like that. I had to like jack it up on the ground and get under it myself. So it's not really that easy. If you're not doing it in a shop, I would say if you're not doing it in a shop in a professional manner, it's probably like maybe like an 8, only because of all the tools you would actually need. Because I had to use 2 jacks at one time to keep both wheels up while I'm doing the intercooler to take the front bumper off. But if you had a lift, then you wouldn't have to actually deal with this issue. My biggest problem I had with the install was the coolant. Man, I tell you, bro, my car was overheating, but that was mostly my fault because I did not bleed my system correctly. So make sure if y'all are doing this kit, make sure you are definitely bleeding your system, because I was leaking coolant and I ended up blowing a hole in my radiator, so I had to get a new one. But that's all on me. You are going to have to fool with this tubing. I do have a different tubing on here, different than the one that actually comes on here, because it just wasn't staying on, so I had to do something a little bit more secure. So I ended up putting 2 tubings on here. So I have one on here from an older air intake, the K&A one that I had on here, that it's not really tight and secure. I am getting one from Amazon. It's coming in the mail. It's a direct fit. It'll make it actually fit on and sit a little bit higher rather than how it's sitting right now. Mounting the actual turbo, the supercharger itself, pretty easy. It's a little heavy, so I would say the way I did it, I took the whole front bump off and took the crash bar off and everything off the front and just mounted it like that. It was way easier, way more space, rather than mounting it without all the components off. Putting the belt on was pretty easy. When I was installing it on my friends, they thought that I was gonna have to time my belt, but you don't have to, actually. It's on there pretty snug. I haven't had any issues with that. This side tubing, this side hasn't really given me any issues. It hasn't came out or anything like that. I have the most issues on this side here. That's why I'm getting the new tubing. Sometimes this air sensor, sometimes this blows out sometimes, but I'll get something for that so that'll stick in, so we don't have to worry about that. For the catch can here, I had to make a T connection specifically on here, so you can see like the zip ties and stuff like that. I got that on there so I can get a clamp. I got that coming in the mail as well. But I had to make a T connection for the PVC valve, because this other side, it actually looks like it's blowing out oil, so I need it to go through my catch can here and go right back into the air intake, because beforehand, I don't know if you probably can't see, but like my engine is kind of just like soaking in oil, because it's just spurting out. When I was first test driving it, was just spurting out oil through that breather line, the air breather line. So I ended up connecting it to my catch can with a T, and it's been running good so far. Let's see if there's any oil in my catch can here. Yeah, so still no oil, most likely it's still just making its way through the lines. But so far, I really haven't had any issues. No check engine light so far. It did overheat one time, but that one time it did overheat. It was because the coolant line wasn't completely clamped on. That I ended up throwing a clamp right here, and it stopped leaking coolant. So then now it's completely flush. So all good with the coolant here. And as you can see, like my engine bay is pretty dirty because it was coolant everywhere, just smoking everywhere. That's why it looks so dirty. But yeah, rip coil packs, iridium packs, everything, all good. The fuel injectors, that was my first time ever doing fuel injectors on any car, so it was pretty easy. The fuel injectors are right there. And go on the 6 injectors. They're the 660 injectors. Pretty good. I did take my cover off. I feel like it just doesn't fit anymore. The aesthetic, it just, I don't know. I'm not feeling it with the cover. But yeah, man, I'm gonna let y'all hear the rip supercharger. as y'all can see, bro, from the video before this one, the damn tubing blew off the goddamn throttle body, man. That's because of all the back pressure though. So I just got to get another silicone hose, fix that. I already ordered one from Amazon. The one that I have is just not staying on. So I'm gonna just get something a little bit better, a little bit tighter for the throttle body, and it should fix that issue. That's the only place it's blowing off at. But other than that, man, rip kit pretty good. Next video should be me going to get dyno tuned and going catless. So just stay tuned for that. That's going to be really interesting to see. I just really want to hear how my car sounds being catless. I don't know. The sound now, it's okay, but I'm looking for something a little bit more louder, something that you can really hear when you're coming down the street. Because it seems like, for me, it's just not loud enough. I don't know, man.